Mic check. Oh my gosh, I really have to check a mic check. Um, what were we talking about? Wow, that was how long was that? See, you can't even tell how long you've been streaming with this new setup. All right, the clock has just started, so the clock said the show started 2 minutes ago. Um, show actually started 7 minutes ago. How you doing, William? Thank you for giving me the update. But man, I gotta tell you, it's been a year. It's been a year since the January. Do I have the shovel? Man, I was I was listening to all these people. Some people still stuck up until like yesterday. I was shocked by this. Um, it wasn't that much snow, Virginia. You really need to get your act together. Um, I think what happened was there was a jackknife truck that no one cleared, and you just had people sitting on the highway like trapped. It didn't make any sense. All the snow was gone in it's fucking Virginia. Oh, yeah, Tim Kaine was stuck for 22 hours. He said. Uh, so, are you the victim of your own incompetence when that happens? Right? I want to remind you. I mean, these are very powerful positions, right? But he drives himself. He doesn't have a driver, right? The only people in the American government I think who gets drivers, who are politicians, like all heads of government, like kind of like has a driver. Like the FBI guy has a driver, CIA guy has a driver, the DEA guy, the health inspector people, um, CDC, right? Those are all medicals, but stuff that isn't that serious. Those guys have drivers in like a government security guy, like the housing secretary. I know this because one Sean uh, Donnelly lived across the street from me in Park Slope, not Park Slope, in Cobble Hill, and he was Obama's uh, housing secretary, and my neighbor. He was an asshole. Um, So everybody gets these kind of like, but not not the common, not the common like there's a, but not an average federal politician, and by that I mean like senators and congressmen, of not just state congressmen, your federal congressman, not just state senator, your federal senator, are the only people who get this treatment. And of those people who get this treatment, um, I'm sorry, aren't they don't get this treatment, and of the ones who do get this treatment, they're usually not elected; they're appointed. Um, but if you're elected, the only people who get a chauffeur and a driver and an armed security detail is the president, the vice president, uh, the president of the Senate, and the Speaker of the House. That's it. Those are the five, right? President, Vice President, Speaker of the House, um, and the Minority Whip. I'm sorry, and the Minority Whip. Those people get drivers because they're directly in the line of succession, right? If I eat a chili bean burrito and I pass gas and kill the president and the vice president, you've got at least three other people close to the arc of succession who are always protected just in case, right? You could be sitting there as the Speaker of the House, and God forbid something happens, and you're choking on a fish bone. There's a guy outside your door who knows how to help you, just in case some god awful thing happens, right? And fate's a fickle bitch, right? So the president will be having a fine round of golf and then pass away naturally, right? And then the vice president may have a stroke and then pass away that way. Or it's that kind of weirdness about the government. And then we're over, America. We're overly extra layered up on scary security, protect some people. So now you've got like I want to say 15 people in the line of succession, and I'm like, good lord, how bad is it gonna get that day when you're down to guy nine? Um, guy nine, like 15 motherfuckers. It reminds me of the English royalty succession. There are people up there who's number 300. I'm like, what would have to happen in England for you to rise up on that list? The horror, the dark horror, can be written by Hollywood, right? The guy who's number 40 or 40th or 50th or 13th for that matter, uh, climbing up to claim that throne or climbing up to claim the presidency. It's it's even if it's a flat out stupid comedy, it's just still kind of a sinister feeling to like a joke like that, right? Um, yeah, with uh, blood on her dress as she stood right next to him, Jackie O, right? One of those amazing photographs that you cannot believe. This is why the president and vice president, I mean, they both have their own planes, right? Because, yeah, we're both going. And it's a rarity to see them show up together. So they'll both go, not show up together, but they'll both fly in and you'll see both planes. And you're like, ooh, Air Force One and Air Force Two is here. Wow, that's awesome. Because it's a big deal. Um, which I guess makes sense, right? I have a fairly big family. We have family. Well, we used to have family reunions, um, and I wouldn't want my whole family on the same plane, right? They like cruises now, and I never like a cruise, so ugh. Hear that rattle? I've got sloppy fingers. Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah. True Armor on the Love Boat. Me and I used to love that show as a kid. I used to. It was over my head. I don't, why would I watch it? I think I watched it because it was a comedy. But there was a lot going on. There was all these celebrities that I knew because they were on my TV growing up. You know, so I even as Americans, we're taught very early what celebrity is. It's funny because now that I'm older, all these people that I used to watch on TV are like kicking off. So it's sort of like some people try and get to Hollywood. They make one movie or they write one hit song, and then they're gone in like a year or two. Other people sit there in Hollywood forever. They've been around for 50 years making movies, and you know, you grow up with them, and then all of a sudden they die, and you're like, oh, I feel bad about that guy. When Tom Petty died, I felt sad. I like Tom Petty. Um, who else? I was like, oh man, that's fucked up. A lot of these rappers, because they're my generation, I'm like, oh my god, I macked on chicks to that song in a dark basement in Queens in like freaking 1981. Well, not 1981, but like 1987, 1986. And now, he's gone. And every day more of them are going. I have a problem with this guitar. I cannot seem to keep it on my knee and stationary. I gotta hold the back of it really tightly for it to go anywhere. Every time I played it, like the front swivels around on me, and that's not supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be stable. People are telling me I could play it like this. Hold on, wait a minute. Flamenco style. Hold on. I gotta adjust my blue jeans. All right, here you go. Oh, good lord, I'm getting heavier than I want to be. And then play it like this, which just doesn't make any sense for me. By the time I started going to concerts, Kool and the Gang were not popular anymore. I was asked, did I ever see Kool and the Gang live? Cool in the Gang was I want to say popular in the 70s. 79. When was Cool in the Gang active?
Here's some information.
64 to present. Sweet Jeebus. All right, well, I'm not even gonna look into that. That sounds ridiculous. 64. That's like when you and your homie first started like singing together in like your basement. They count that versus counting when you got your first professional gig, which I think is what it should be. So right, so let's say, I write a song, right? Let's say I write a song, and how can I phrase this? Um, because me saying let's say I write doesn't give you enough information. Let's say in 5 years of playing music, right? Then I write a song, and then I get a Grammy nomination. Have I been? Uh, and this is 5 years from now when I start doing shows and writing music, and I get a Grammy nomination, right? Versus when I started a few months ago. Would you say I started in 2020, or would you say I start 2021, or would you say I started in 2026? Right when I got my first job doing music or whatever. So now, yeah, I just hang it off my freaking. But everybody told me it's not supposed to swash around, right? It's supposed to be fairly stable, and it isn't. Practice your bar chords. That rattle is killing me, man. Glenn Campbell was very popular when I was a kid. Country music had. I like country music. Country music had a moment when I was a kid, right? It was in all the action movies, right? It was uh Cannonball Run, right? It had a lot of country music stars in it. Mel Tillis, famous Mel Tillis, right? Funny, had a stutter, mean ass guitar player, really good country singer. Uh, but it also had like Hee Haw was on TV for like 10 years. Um, Barbara Mandrell and her sisters had a country show on. Charlie Pride, Kissing Angel Good Morning, right? Um, so yeah, Barbara Mandrell and her sisters had a TV show on, uh, and they would sing country music on it weekly. Sunday, I think it was. Um, a lot of a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Grew up with a lot of I want to say Sid and Marty Krofft, but I think those are the cartoon people. The two brothers who were what this is Wild America, and they go up there and mess with the bears and shit. Right, it's all of this sort of country like kind of thing was still on TV. So me in Brooklyn, as a little kid, I was totally, you know, invested in this kind of thing that America was selling us, right? Protective plants in the forest. Never saw a fucking. Never saw a fucking tree before in my life. Is ridiculous. But I mean, give a hoot, don't pollute. That affected me, and the wear a seatbelt campaign are the two things. I was telling somebody about this before. I don't litter because when I was a little kid, that give a hoot, don't pollute. I like really and seatbelts, right? I was young enough to be like, Daddy, put your seatbelt on. You gotta put your seatbelt on, Daddy. Me and my sister and and my little brother in the back seat. The only reason my father wore the seatbelt because he was probably like, all right, that's a shut these kids up. I wear a seatbelt for God's sakes. But that's how they get you when you're small, right? Smoking the Bear. Um, I'm concerned about forest fires. Never been anywhere near a forest, but because it was on TV between the cartoons, right? So you get this is how you get associated with things. So yeah, I mean, I like country music. But every time these people, you ask them a question, they get racist on you, and you're just kind of like, you know what? You can go eat your fucking country music. Um, but then they get rich and then they move out of Nashville or whatever. They end up in Hollywood, California, and New York, and in movies, and then they got to moderate all that shit. Remember, there was a guy who's supposed to be on Saturday Night Live, and he wasn't because he got picked, and right before he could even start, they fired him for mean racial shit about Asians or some shit. Which I listened to it. I made a comment back then. It was something to the effect of he was like, "Man, I'm a comedian. You tell jokes and people are upset." And I was like, "That's not what you were doing, right? Look, if if I'm first of all, it depends on what kind of podcast we're doing here. This is a political, social podcast, right? It's not a comedy podcast. If I'm up on podcast telling you knock knock jokes and yuck yuck and woo hoo hoo hoo, and I tell some racial jokes or sexist jokes or women, people can get then go, man, that's that kind of show. Like who's the DJ? He used to have women riding vibrators on his TV show, right? He had Hillary Clinton on running for office, talking to her. I was like, how does he, you know? Um, it's that. So Stern, thank you. That was a million years ago, yeah, but that was Stern, right? So he wasn't going to get the governor then. He does wild stuff now, but now he's got such a base that they're willing to overlook that so he can talk to Hillary Clinton. You see what I'm saying? So something's going on in the other room. So what was I saying? Yeah. So this guy who he was saying all this wild stuff. He said it was a comedy podcast, but the podcast looked like it was him and his boy, a friend of his, talking shit and having beers over a table while recording it and saying mean shit about Asian people. Right? So it wasn't a stand up comedy thing where he was like, why did two Asians walk into a bar, the XYZ, ha ha ha, and people were mad. That is outrageous. He shouldn't get the job. And he was going there. I was telling him, that's not what happened. What happened was him and his boy was sitting there, recording their like show like at home or whatever. And that's the kind of like where I remember it. We can look it up, because it is on YouTube. Uh, and they just sound like they were saying mean shit about people, you know. So, but this is America, right? People are all of a sudden shocked. This has been America for a very long time, right? Never fixing the problems. Now the whole thing's gotten ridiculous. Uh, yeah, that's. I only knew Yogi and Boo Boo. Yeah, Yogi and Boo Boo were good too. Hanna Barbera cartoons, a couple of Fleischer cartoons like Woody Woodpecker. Remember all those? The best cartoon was Bullwinkle and Rocky, and I knew as a kid that show was special because some of it went over my head, and I saw it later. And when I say later, I mean like in my 20s, and I was like, "Oh, this shit is fucking brilliant." Um, it was written. It was it was it was written. It was. I was about to say it was layeredly written. It was written with layers. Uh, what is going on with me? I've been craving coffee. I've been running through coffee. I don't mind it. I need to go get milk. Um, whew, ugh. What a week it's been. Oh, I guess we go back to work Monday. All right. We're gonna have a test uh stream tomorrow on Twitch for games. I'm trying to come up with a time because I look at some of these things. And some people start gaming at 4, and I'm like, I could fucking definitely game at 4. Uh, and if this works the way it might, these streams might be like nightly streams, like for 4 and 5 hours. I can game for 4 hours and talk shit for 3 easily, easily. Um, but I gotta set up some stuff. So if it, I mean, I hope I can pull this off. January 6th wounds in Congress run deep, and Trump keeps them fresh. Here's the problem, Congress. No one likes you. um, and nobody's giving you any sympathy for this January 6th thing. It was like a Blizzard 78 in Massachusetts with a lot less snow. Really? Really? I remember the blizzard of 78 in the Northeast. How much snow did you get? I thought New York got no snow. I mean, I saw some snow in D.C. I was shocked. Like, I thought people were. Excuse me. All right, hold on. I don't like using. Why do I have so many. Man, hold on. What are you gonna do? Mm, 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 mm. I have been like just falling into music, falling into it. Speaking of which, is this thing still on? Look how loud this thing is. Cut it off. Turn it down and cut it off. Um. Oh. So yeah. So the Congress people want sympathy and to be like, oh, this is outrageous, and they want you to feel for them, and then take that, oh, I feel for you energy, and transfer it to elections and hate for Donald Trump. Right? That's what they want because if someone's running for Congress, right, whoever that person, and they can go, they can make you, the voter, go, aw, they got your vote. So they can be like, I'm a soldier and I skinned my knee, and you went, aw, they know they got your vote. But if they go, I'm a soldier, and and the other guy goes, well, I'm a soldier, and I laugh at people who skin their knee, then you and they can make you go, oh, you suck over there with that. Then the first person still has your vote, right? It's either sympathy for me or scorn for the person I'm running against. Um, but sometimes people underplay and overplay their hand. Oh, I skinned my knee, and you go, well, how fucking old are you? Right? It's got. Then they're like, ooh, that backfired. Um, but it's reading the voting public. Uh, did you find noise coming from the kitchen? That's a weird man. Now you got me looking out the freaking. uh, yeah, let's look up the Blizzard of '78. Cause man, I mean, they would not close the schools. They had yeah, making me mad. Northeastern United States Blizzard of 1978. Wikipedia. Woo-hoo. I remember the started date February 5th, 1978. Around 100 fatalities. 4,500 people injured. 520 million US, 2.6 billion in 2020 dollars. Wow. Wow. Great Blizzard of 78, Great Blizzard of 77. I do remember a couple of back to back years of just ridiculous snow. 93, Storm of the Century, remember that? Oh my God, 2015, 2011 Groundhog's Day Blizzard, 2011 Halloween Nor'easter. Yeah, yeah, all right. So, um, I'm looking at some of these pictures that's sort of ridiculous. Yeah, I could never live in a place that gets blizzards again. I can't do it. And people who move to places who want snow so they can ski, getting wildfires in Colorado and no snow. This whole thing, and everybody's unhappy with politicians who can't solve anything. This whole thing is gonna go left on we as Americans so bad as to upset the world. Because let's face it, I think people will do what China wants them to do, and China will make the world a more authoritarian. I mean, America is a con artist kind of nonsense thing got going on here, but you can drive a car and talk shit about the government and not be carted off. You can't do that shit with China. Um, all right, so that's amazing. Oh, good lord, Boston. Look at this photo. Abandoning cars along Route 128 near Needham, Massachusetts during the blizzard of 78. Holden Fitchburg. Vehicles are seen stranded and abandoned in the deep snow on the exit for Burncoat Street off Interstate 290 in Worcester, Mass, February 7th, 1978, during the now infamous blizzard of 78. People just left their cars there. Where did they go? It's the highway. You're not gonna walk 20. Where would you maybe they all left together? A car rests atop of Indian Orchard exit of I 291 Eastern Spring from February 7, 1978. Bonnie Alexander of Boston Brighton District attaches a sign to the antenna of her car in Boston in this February 8, 1975 photo. Alexander placed a sign to warn snowplows that there's a car under that drift. Yeah, I remember the snow drifts. People's cars were buried for weeks. I mean, like 6 weeks. Yeah, they would just plow more snow over your car, and the snow drifts were 15 feet, and we would climb them. It was so fucking awesome for about 3 days before everything was just a wet, slushy mess for about 3 weeks. It will melt and then freeze and then melt and then refreeze and then melt, and it was like that till like the end of May. Ugh. And then there was a giant pile of it in this place called Green Acres Mall parking garage. So first they took it off the street and they shoved it all in these open spaces, these department store parking lots. And one of them was there forever. It must have been there through the whole summer, 100-degree days, slowly just melting. And I think it was finally gone by October. So yeah, did you find comfort? They wouldn't allow cars on streets for a week or more. Yeah, the sanitation trucks, they smack a plow on them things and they get moving. Hey, what's up, Emmanuel? Um, yeah, here's the thing, man. Today is Thursday. So, last week, Friday, Saturday, first of all, I think it rained. No, I think it rained Monday. So Friday and Saturday, it was like 78 degrees. And then Saturday it was like 75. And I was like, huh, what a way to start the new year. Calm before the storm. This is ridiculous. We're going to have a positive vibe on this whole thing. This is going to be good. 3 days later, blizzard, snowstorm, people trapped in the. What? Blizzard of 78. You don't think, I mean, good Lord. My parents, they're like, I mean, they're trying to work. Interstate 95 looking south at the Rhode Island, Massachusetts border between Attleboro, Mass. And Pawtucket, Rhode Island. It's shown in an aerial view taken just after the February 7th blizzard. Snowplows had cleared the highway in Massachusetts, but the Rhode Island portion of the vicinity had not been cleared. Wow. Wow. Residents cleared snow on Congress Street in Springfield during the blizzard of 78. Home movie footage filmed in Winthrop, Massachusetts after the blizzard of 78. Located in the eastern part of the state, Winthrop was among the community's hardest hit. Snowplow cleared, snowplow were hitting cars. Snowplow cleared the intersection of Dwight and Carrera Street in Springfield on February 7, 78. Vehicles stranded in the snow at the southbound lane of Route 128 Needham after the blizzard. Springfield firefighters dig out hydrants. Ooh, a Springfield woman shovels snow. God bless her. She must be 80. She out there by herself smiling. That's how you get a heart attack, 1978. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened. Governor Michael Dukakis. Ooh, okay. Top of Virginia got 1 to 4 inches. DC area got 4 to 10. 1 to 4. All right. Uh, what is this? Not Rhode Island. What is this? Delaware got 10 to 20, and New York got either 4 to 10, 10 to, but New York City proper got 10 to 20. Long Island got 20 to 30, and there are small pockets that got 30 plus. Look like Connecticut and Rhode Island. But 3 feet of snow, and then snow drifts, and then people driving the snow and just shoving it to the side and burying your car, and then plows were hitting cars under all the snow. Yeah, I remember people being unhappy. Um, the flooding afterward. This street needs plowing. And I remember because they will come through and plow the wealthy neighborhoods first, and and then the next, it's kind of like a tear down system, and people will complain. And we lived on Long Island, right? We lived in Queens, so they plowed New York City proper first. Then they slowly got out to the outer boroughs, and then it was Manhattan first. Then it was like part of the Bronx and upstate to get to like the highway, to get to Connecticut. Then it was parts of Queens to get out to Long Island. But so my neighborhood got done because we were on the way to Long Island. Um, but places like Brooklyn were left hanging. Places like um, urban areas of the Bronx, that like Fort Greene, that's Brooklyn. Fort Apache, which is what they used to call um, what is Fort Apache called now? Anyway, yeah, so man, the memories of the thing. Who brought up blizzards? William, you brought up blizzards. Got me walking down memory lane. Um, so Joe Biden gave some trite speech today. I just had to cut it off and roll my eyes and go freaking do other things with my time. Uh, this Omicron is every place. Man charged with murder after Las Vegas police found a severed head and other body parts. What? In the back of a stolen truck. A man driving in Las Vegas area with a severed head in the back of a reportedly stolen truck have been charged with murder, according to a criminal complaint. I don't even know. I don't even know. I couldn't even with the whole day, man. Could not even. It's weird. Yesterday I was gonna do a show. I think I'm getting old. I think it's depression. Depression makes you depressed. Let me rephrase that. Depression makes you sleepy. So yesterday, uh, granted, I was up all night. I was actually gonna do a stream yesterday. I was up at like 3 in the morning. I was like, I should do a stream while I should go to bed, so I could wake up at 7 like I always do. And then somewhere around like 6:30 yesterday, I was like, I should do the show now while I'm awake. But I'm fading fast. And by the time 7 o'clock rolled around, I was like, I'll do it at 7:30. By the time 7:30 rolled around, I was asleep. So ridiculous. I woke up again at midnight and then hung out. But I was like, up, not missing a show today. So what were we talking about? TikToker Candice Murley unexpectedly dies at 36. Family says a massive shock. What did she die of? TikToker Candice Murley, known for her dancing and cooking videos, has died. Her family announcing a GoFundMe campaign. We've seen some news no one wants to hear. Tonight we lost a huge part of our family. She's 36. According to Murphy, died at her home January 2nd at her home in Lewington Cove, a town in Canadian province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Wow. Why don't people review people how people die? Everybody's a heroin addict. I hate not saying that she's a heroin addict, but everybody's a heroin addict. Or they died doing something stupid. Remember that guy from who's the last famous guy who I was like, why did he die? How come I haven't heard anything? The guy from not Kids in the Hall. That's a different comedy troupe. The whitest kids you know. They were like, so and so died. I was like, what? I was like, that guy has to be like 35, 40. I mean, what is he dying of? And they were like, the family didn't disclose it, and along with our grief and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, that's wow. And I like, well, how did he die? I couldn't get out of my head. So these things come out because it's a modern era, and nobody keeps a secret in this tech age, right? And it turns out that he fell out a window. So what I think happened was he was likely drinking, um, maybe not, but somehow fell off his balcony, um, and they found him lying in the yard essentially the next morning. So he fell out the window. Nobody knew he fell out the window, and they found him second story. Now, mind you, a second story fall will kill you, right? A story is about 10 feet. 2 stories is about 20 feet. Um, you could jump out a second story window, but you would have to like hang down and then drop the 10 feet, right? But 30 stories, you can't just hang down and then drop the other 26 feet. You break both your legs, some good internal injuries. If you land on your stomach, you're gonna die. If you land on your head, you're gonna die. 30 feet will kill you, right? 20 feet will really hurt you badly and kill you. But a bad spill off 10 feet will kill you too, right? But not likely. You're not likely to die from like a 5 to 10 foot drop, but you are likely to seriously injure yourself. 15 and anything 15 feet and higher. Um, right? So I was like, huh, what happened, right? That's why I thought alcohol played a part, the way he fell out the window and died. But everyone's on meth. I've met people who you did not know had a meth problem until they died, and you're like, that dude was on meth. You know who? Um, the actor with the giant scar on his face who died of heroin, right? And you're like, man, all these Hollywood people, uh, because they don't look emaciated. Oh, you know who else? Who was the guy in Philip Seymour Hoffman? He was a heroin addict. Died out of the blue. I was like, what? Let's read this thing. A man driving in Las Vegas. I can actually put this on the TV, but blah, 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 blah. A man driving in Las Vegas area with a severed head in the back of a reportedly stolen truck had been charged with murder, according to a criminal complaint. Eric Holland was arrested on December 24th, the complaint stated. On December 23rd, a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officer tried to pull over a Toyota Tundra that had a suspended registration. The complaint said the driver initially stopped, but then drove away as officers tried to speak to him. According to court, yeah, what are you gonna say? It's not your car. You got nowhere, and we're gonna hold you here while we search you. Oh, look ahead. You might as well just got into the high speed chase immediately. I mean, what are you gonna say? Yeah, Heath Ledger. Um, but Heath Ledger took a body relaxer, right? Relax you so solemnly that it shuts you all down. That's what Prince took. I mean, he was the heroin addict. He took what Prince was taking. He took what killed Heath Ledger, killed Prince, killed Tom Petty, killed Tom Petty, Prince killed Michael Jackson, right? It's a body sedative. It relaxes you so much so that your lungs don't even work. You essentially put yourself to sleep like people put animals to sleep. Just totally relax you to death, and that's the problem. Um, and all these people say they got into it after surgery, Prince, because he needed to heal his, I want to say his back from jumping off of stage dives in high heels, right? That's the thing that you can only do when you're a young person. And if you're going to be famous forever, you got to retire that shit, right? It's like these quarterbacks who are fucking amazing in their 20s, but you can't keep getting hit like that. You won't be around in your 30s. And that's what happened. So, and yeah, I don't know. Don't even get me started. On December 23rd, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Office tried to pull over a Toyota Tundra truck that had a suspended registration. The complaint said the driver initially stopped but then drove away as officers tried to speak to him. According to the court document, the truck was then driven into a parking garage. Moments later, another truck, a gold Chevrolet Avalanche, was seen leaving the parking garage. According to court documents, it is unclear if Holland was the same driver for both vehicles. Police followed the gold avalanche to an apartment complex where Holland got out and repeatedly ignored commands given by police. According to court documents, once Holland was in custody, police were able to confirm that both trucks were reportedly stolen. The complaint said while searching the gold truck, police found a black plastic trash bag emitting a foul odor with a severed head inside, according to the complaint. Hold it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Police said the gold avalanche, Parmacon, where Holland got. All right. So he drove a truck into a parking lot while the cops were outside with the uh outside keeping surveillance on it. A different car drives out. They say it's the same driver. They follow that guy, pull over that car, realize that car is stolen as well as the first car, search that car, find a plastic bag with a head in it, a severed human head in it. I'm about to say American head. Who I don't know that. A severed human head in it. My question now is, why would you steal a car with a body part in it? You were better off taking the rap for the first one, which I'm assuming didn't have a body in it. I've got the TV on the other room, which is I shouldn't have, but yeah. I'm gonna have to stop that. Thank you, Milton. I appreciate that. So why? Look, if the we gotta face the rest of it. So unless he had body parts in the car he was trying to avoid, the first stolen car, got got into a non conspicuous, an inconspicuous giant gold avalanche of all fucking things. Excuse my language. With a severed head in the truck. Once Holland was in custody, police were able to confirm that both trucks were reportedly stolen. While searching the gold truck, police, not yellow, which is, police found a black plastic trash bag of minical foul odor with a severed head inside, according to the complaint. Holland on the scene said he wouldn't answer questions without a lawyer, according to good call. According to the complaint, additional coolers found in the gold truck allegedly contained two human legs and an apparent human torso. The complaint said, "This is the gold truck. What the fuck was in the other truck?" Kimi Misu, 22-year-old Korean actress, dies unexpectedly. Of what? Who is she? Should we know it? Was she in Squid Games? All right, we're gonna look. We're gonna look this up because I think it sounds like it's raining outside. What is Snowdrop? Disney actress. Yeah, could be anything, but it's likely not anything. Um, he stole a car, two human legs and an apparent torso. That is hard to explain. That is what you call being caught red-handed or caught dead to rights. There is no way. I don't want to say that because all kind of things happen. It's super unlikely that you will have an explanation for a severed human head, two legs, and a torso in your possession to the cops or a court of law or a jury that everybody will go, ah, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The Clark County Coroner's Office identified the victim. Oh, they know who the victim is, as Richard P. Miller, a 65-year-old white male from Las Vegas. The coroner's office ruled the death a homicide due to multiple gunshots. Self defense. Yeah. One of the strangest stories I ever heard is this one. This happened when I was working. So, this guy is has this guy's car and he's in the Wees in Jersey dumping these bags. So the cops grab him for littering. They open the bags. It's a body. They're arrested for murder. The car belongs to the dude's wife. Um, and it turns out that they did the guy in. They cut him up. It was all no. It was essentially perfect until this guy decided to dump the body parts into the river broad daylight at like noon on like a Tuesday. right? But that's the way. If you went out at 3 in the morning and did it, they'd be like, "Why is that car out here all by itself?" All right, that's it. No, no, no. It wasn't mob. It was they wanted to kill him for his stuff and run away together. But yeah, that it wasn't mob. It was just greed, horny greed. But I will always remember, like, you got these, you know what's in it, and the cops go, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing? What are you gonna do? You can't run. You're in the swamp." Crime. People are stupid. Don't get me wrong. I'm not some Boy Scout, but my whole thing is, if I'm gonna commit a crime and do something, there are parameters on what I'm doing, right? So, um, yeah, I don't even know what crime I would commit. I think any money crime, you'd have to leave the country, right? Uh, the money will run out. Then where will you be, right? Uh, I don't know, man. People are just fucking weird with the shit they'll do for money. An attorney for Holland P. David Westbury said the body recovered in this case was in the second truck, the Chevy, not the first truck, the Toyota. Okay, what was he? He was driving an Avalanche, a Toyota Avalanche. Okay, so the body recovered in this case was in the second truck, the Chevy, not the first truck, the Toyota. So this should be backwards because not the not the first truck, right? Because this say he was in a truck and then he ditched that truck for the Avalanche, the Toyota Avalanche, which should be the second truck. Additionally, the truck bed was covered and the body was stored in a sealed cooler. Ooh, all of that is premeditation, right? You got the body cut up, you got it in a cooler, you are in plastic, you know exactly what you were doing and why you were doing it and how you were doing it. I will fucking see you in 40 years. Good lord. In order to presume that Mr. Holland had prior knowledge of the contents of this truck, you would also have to believe that he led police to the body intentionally, Westbrook said. The question is, why would he do this? The next court appearance for Holland in this case is scheduled for January 27th. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't even know what to tell you. There's a lot of these creepy ghouls out here. Everybody's testing positive for COVID. All right, so I mean, they're really trying to make something of this Antonio Brown thing. No one cared. It's been 2 days and nobody cared. Dick Cheney slams the GOP over. Oh, really? Let's hear what Dick Cheney has to say. One of the worst political figures in American modern history. Um, yes, please. So remember, if you're here, like and subscribe. So we're gonna do a test stream tomorrow, Friday, right? Yeah, we're gonna do a test stream tomorrow on Twitch to get it up and knock the first out. I wanted to do it today, but I've been trying to get that thing running so I could record some music. No, it won't be musical, but it will be something. I'm just testing the mic and the keyboard setup, the guitar setup. Thank you. I totally appreciate that. I totally feel that. Uh, and I totally love that. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Thank you, William. I appreciate that. So let's see what Dick Cheney has to say. I was really supposed to start this thing off because I was like, Joe Biden, the way the media is going after this, and now I'm sort of off the. Here's another thing I don't like. This They call this a story. I'm gonna show you this on my phone. They call this a story. Um, hmm. Right, this is a picture of Dick Cheney. I wonder if I could just. How about that? Let's see. Can you do that? Yeah, there you go. Turn the brightness all the way down. This is a picture of good old Dick, right? Um, this is the article that's telling you CNN. That's it. It's freaking 4 paragraphs long. They call this journalism. No, nobody. Now I can bring the light back up so I can see it. No, no. Who wrote it? You get a photo credit for good old Dick there. This is why nobody believes the American media, right? This is not a freaking news story. What did Dick Cheney say? Now I gotta find it someplace else. I mean, this crazy kid. Liz Cheney is unworthy too. Don't get it twisted. Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney slams GOP over January 6th. CNN happy to stick him right front and center, not because of what I said. But because they're looking for more mayhem and chaos. So they can, because I tell you, look, like I say it all the time. If there's a baby being thrown out of a burning building and you catch it, the media will put you on the cover of the newspaper. And if you drop it, the media will put you on the front, and they will sell just as many papers either way, right? It's one thing to be on the side of the winners and losers. They don't care whose side, because they're gonna sell bullets regardless. With the Republicans absent, Liz and Dick Cheney joined Democrats to mark January 6th attack anniversary. Ugh, I don't even like your allies, Democrats. Ugh, you suck. I'm not even going to read the rest of that. Ugh. Yeah, yeah. No one, exactly. No one, like, your NFTs. Yeah, every front page will be a freaking NFT. Oh my God, Dick Cheney. Ugh. I gotta tell you, man. You know where I stand with Donald Trump. I think that they tried to ban him, an American president. I think it's ridiculous. I think the idea that social media, you may not like what he says, but if you're a politician and you got no retort, maybe you shouldn't be a politician. The way they shut him out completely, while they're always still talking about, oh, he's going to be arrested any minute now he's going to be arrested. The whole thing is ridiculous. No one seems serious. If you had serious Donald Trump, if you had any serious uh, people in your caucus, Donald Trump wouldn't be a problem. I think he's coming back, the ghost of Christmas past, to eat Brandon's lunch. But it's a long way to 2024, and like I said, no one who's going to run like to 2024, January 2024, your president. So we're really talking about November 2023. No one, uh, let's go, Brandon. Oh man, no one announces for the presidency in November 2024 until after Christmas, generally, uh, of this year. So people are going to start positioning themselves now by spring. No one's going to declare anything. They're going to be talking about politics and who could and what should happen, and they're going to raise their profile a lot. And they're going to start picking fights and raising money. And somewhere around August, you're going to hear about who who you know, the likely next evil person is going to be. What is it? New boss, same as the old boss. Yeah. So we won't know until at least August. But the standards are the standards, right? You expect uh, Biden to do it again if he's around, and if he's not around, you expect Kamala Harris to do it and to pick her vice president. And since he lost, the rational um, the rational nominee to be, sorry, I got a a message. the rational choice for the opposition's. Oh boy, come on, man, what are you doing? The rational opposition to run at this is Donald Trump, right? He's he's if this was a boxing match, he's the contender, right? He's the last best dude. But this is why boxing is a shit show. People don't take the next best fight. They pat themselves and take these suckers and get giant. It is what it is. That's why. I mean, I remember boxing was a thing when I was a kid. Then it went away. Then it came back with Tyson. Then it went away again. And then they had to reconfigure it, so they came up with MMA, which is just brutal, brutal, brutal. Um, I have seen street fights that were not as bad as MMA fights. Um, yeah, no, he gave his speech at like noon. Biden does not give speeches after 2 in the afternoon. It's nobody's listening to him. You're like, yeah, you're having meetings, but they're essentially like the Russians are like, yeah, do what you're gonna do. We're gonna take Ukraine. What you gonna do about it? You know, the North Korea, the Chinese are like, we took Hong Kong, and we're gonna take Taiwan. What you gonna do about it? Anybody gonna go fight for fucking either of these places while we're supposed to go and fight for Israel too? Meanwhile, I can't get a cab in New York City proper, the place I was born. The fuck out of here. I just think that these people are really out of their mind with what they expect we, the common man and woman working every day, to be for. There's no payout for me on another war. What I get is I lose family members. What do you get? More speeches? What does Halcyon and Raytheon get? More government contracts? I did see Hillary. Yeah, that's another thing. You bring up a really good point, William. Hillary Clinton warming up in the bullpen is exactly right. Now Hillary Clinton thinking that, oh, she smells Biden not being around. She sees Kamala Harris's numbers are weak and ridiculous. They floated Buttigieg, and people were like, "Get the fuck out of here." So now she's back in play. The devil, right? Oh, but here we go. The third time, very few people get to run for president and lose 3 times. If she runs for president against Donald Trump, I will not vote for her. I said it before and took all this heat for it, and I was right. And I told you why Biden was trash, and I've been proven right. And if you want to fix your shit, Democratic Party, you might want to listen to me or people who sound like me. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one talking this. I'm pretty sure. I'm not the great Kreskin going, I'm some political sage that you need me on MSNBC and pay me $4 million a year to know. You can walk into any barbershop and talk to anybody who knows politics and get the same semblance. But what you're doing is you're trying to steer the river, and that's not going to work, right? I mean, the people change the landscape, and you see it, and you're trying to change the river back, and you can't. You've been coasting on to any other people, and now the people are like, you're all idiots, and fuck you, Brandon, and fuck you, Kamala, while I'm at it. And now you need people to come and vote for you in the coming midterms, and you're trying to do that by going, Donald Trump is evil, 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 right? January 6th. Oh, and the whole talk about January 6th seems very, oh, we politicians are, oh, something bad could have happened to us. It had nothing to do with anybody else, right? So now you're like, welcome. You get the fear and agita that everybody else gets that you don't get. Meanwhile, you're insider trading and people are out of work. It's a fucking pandemic. I don't even know what to make of it anymore. Biden doesn't give speeches after 2 p.m. because he has to beat the other people his age to the Golden Corral and retire. Yeah, by 8, you think so? I'm thinking he's in bed by 6. I think he has dinner at 2. He settles in for a game of Wheel of Fortune and then Matlock, And before the evening news comes on, he's like out. And then the Secret Service puts him to bed. Yeah, MSNBC is trash. It really is trash. But I was calling it trash 10 years ago. MSNBC is the same thing as Fox News, just for liberals. And remember, people used to be Democrats, and then they became liberals, right? And Hillary Clinton was a liberal, and we are liberal, all right? And it's like, okay, but you didn't do anything, and now you just change the name again to progressives, and you're not doing anything, and they're gonna want to take that title too, but now they're trying to rein it in because now they look like the old thing that nobody wants. And Chuck Schumer's out here telling you how he's going to do something else that's, yeah, he's been around too long. You need to get rid of all these people on both sides of the aisle who just make themselves rich. And we will see uh, who can do that. Because they're so well entrenched. You might as well be saying, man, you should just get rid of Saddam Hussein, right? They couldn't do it. They needed a foreign army to come in with all the bells and whistles to do it, right? And now here we are. We need the same sort of treatment. Who's going to free us up? It's got to be us. Can't be people from the outside. Luckily, we've got like rules that say you can't stay in office forever, but they subverted those rules, right? Everybody can stay as long as they want, with the exception of the president, which to me sounds backwards, right? The president should, if anybody stays as long as they want, it should be the president, right? But the president is supposed to stay as long as you want. Then how the fuck are you staying as long as you want? Joe Biden's been there for 50 years. The dude is completely incompetent. And now he's too old that he's having trouble reading the teleprompter, right? He used to be a, what do they call it? A retail politician. Go out there, shake hand, and kiss the babies. Everybody knew his name. Oh, I met him once. That's how he got name recognition, right? Whereas the Clintons, the Kennedys, were not retail politics. They were more, I guess, celebrity before celebrities, right? People knew them from Boston. They were a famous family, uh, famously connected political donors. That's why they were a hard sell to the rest of the country, right? Versus who's a big family that everybody, well, not so much a big family, but a big name that everybody in the country knew is Reagan, right? For almost the same reasons. You've known Reagan your whole life too, from movies and stuff from like the 30s and 40s and 50s. By the time he ran in the 80s, you had known him for 50 years, right? By the time Kennedy ran in 60, 50, he got elected in 60. By the time he decided to run in 58, 59, uh, his father, Prescott Bush, I want to was all over American politics, like in the building making the sausage, right? He looked after Wall Street after, right, the collapse, and like he started the Securities Exchange Commission because he knew money. So he knew people, but you didn't know him, right? Versus the other way around, which is the Reagan thing, where people wake up and go, like, this is why it's sinister for everybody to love these bored celebrities going, I'm gonna go back to my hometown and run for governor. You have never done a fucking thing for anybody but yourself. You did not start acting for me. And on top of that, you work in a place where there's nothing but drugs and rape all over the place. So maybe you should fucking clean up that. You know what I'm saying? The, nothing is getting done because everybody is sort of a prima donna. So Fox News is trash. Sorry, but I equally load both sides. Yeah, I can see that. The president was limited to a maximum of 8 years because they learned from the England and didn't want a monarchy. The Senate and House are monarchy. Yeah, well, the president only got limited in 1940 after Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Other than that, it was just honor system, right? George Washington said, "Oh man, this is great. I got elected twice. I think twice is enough." And everybody who came after that for 200 years was like, "Twice is enough." And then here comes Franklin Delano Roosevelt, right, with his wheelchair. President for 12 years, died in office. Uh, yeah. So, I mean, that thing isn't even 100 years old. But if you were going to go, well, we don't want a president for 12 years, that's too long. If you know what it is, they did that because they're all jockeying for that seat. So they wrote a law to empty that seat so one of them could get it. Just like they wrote a law that no age limits, no term limits, we can sit here forever. The thing that they're complaining about the president doing, they arrogantly do all the time. Does that make sense? So yeah, they're all full of shit. Excuse my language. They're all full of poo. They're all full of nonsense. Yeah. So the English monarchy is another thing. I just think this country has been overrun by Europeans. I hate to say it. And I mean that in the sense that they don't know American culture. They just want to be here, right? We got more space. We got mountains and streams and shit that they have never seen in some of these places, because some of these places are small places, but they can come here and be racist in the sunshine because they know that you love them. Well, Americans love some of these European people, and you can come here and undercut Americans. And I see it all the time. The idea that you come here and then you complain about the gun laws, I'm like, why did you come here? Right? You come here and you complain about racism. Like I tell this to minority people, why did you come here? Like, I mean, what did you not know about? You know what I mean? Because it, it's the society needs to be fixed, and if you're gonna fix a society, there's a lot of shit you have to fix. There's a lot of criminality in government, right? But there's also just a lot of usury going on by people flying in and out of here, and you should know who they are because not all of them are above board. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Woo wee! All right. Oh wow, we got a minute 20. We're about to knock this one down because yeah, we have to. I have to somehow figure. The more I look into Twitch, yeah, I can do watch parties. We can go and watch a movie together. Yeah, I think Twitch is going to be the move for 2022. Um, the address climate change. Look, here's a problem with climate change. You're talking about 1.5 degrees. Shut up. It's not going to happen. Right? It's like the degrees are rising. Like, look, you know that commercial bet you can't eat just one. This is what's going on with these degrees. You're gonna hit a point, and then it's gonna get down to good old fashioned primal survival. Uh, some people believe this is not the first extinction for the human animal, and I like to. Well, actually, it's obviously not the first extinction for the human species, right? Because there was seven other human species. Just like there's a whole bunch of different dogs and birds and fish, there's a whole bunch of different peoples. And I think, some people are far more dangerous than other peoples. Um, and they either were not smarter or not as predatory and were wiped out. And look, man, for all we know, some other creatures have caused the extinction of other creatures, right? Um, things that couldn't fly away, like everything on the Galapagos Island, if anything else got there, would be dead because they're just so unique to that one little space. But even on that island, there's stuff that we probably long never knew about that came and went because they couldn't even compete on that island. Um, it is what it is. Some people believe that back then there were 200,000 people, which is 200,000 to 2 million, somewhere in there, but which is a lot of people for like a barren world with like just kind of like Earth 2.0, right? Where they added people just before it was just like burning rocks and dinosaurs. So when you cool down, then you like 10 million years after, 6 million years after that, you add people. People have only been around for about 2 million years or so. Civilization is only about 200,000. Is civilization 200,000 years old? Yeah, I think civilization is about 120,000 years old. Modern history is the last 200 years, I want to say. Um, but all the prehistory, where people didn't write stuff, but somebody ended up learning how to make a boat, how to make a raft, that kind of shit. Um, we all had dance, right? Every culture, before we knew that there were other people around, we all had music and we all had dance, right? So we were all banging on a drum or a log or whistling, right? And women were always wiggling around in front of the men's, uh, for whatever reason, right? I'm thinking because they like to dance and men like to watch. Makes sense to me. Um, but somewhere where we started writing stuff down, which is about 5,000 years ago with papyrus, but God only knows what was lost, right? And they think it all got down to about 2,000 people in this small section of Africa. And they think like, think about the whole world, 7 billion people in counting. Everyone, no, I can't say everyone, but so many people begin to like slip this mortal coil that there are about 10,000 people left, and they're not in a tiny spot like, you know, Manhattan or whatever. They're sort of spread out in like between Montana and Idaho, and just kind of like just like, what did I say? Not 50,000 people, but let's say 10,000 people, like spread out through like the band from like northern Canada down through Mexico, right? Just kind of like, but just this sliver of a place. And they were talking about 2,000 people, and they think that was just kind of like 2,000 people in a place as big as like fucking Queens. That is nobody, right? 2,000 people in a place as big as like all of California, all of Los Angeles. That's nobody. That's groups of people that are only 8 and 10 people large, roaming around the place together, family groups, right? Hopefully meet another family group. Get, oh wow, whoo, we met you, and now our tribe is 40 people. Ooh, that's a fairly big tribe. Anybody seen any food? Nope. Anybody seen any plants? Nope. Right? That's what they think happened. And people walked out of Africa into Europe, and then before you know it, nature's nature. And there was every day, not every day, but every few months there was another new person, and every new few months there's another new person. And then people learn their landscape and what to do and what not to do. Then you make more people than you lose, and before you know it, you're a society, right? You're a tribe walking across a landscape. You're a small society. You're humanity. So 1.5 degrees. Like I said, New Year's Eve, it was 78 degrees today. I was like, it is December and January. This don't make no sense. 4 days later, it was 32 degrees. Is it raining? No, it's not. I am craving coffee. It's outrageous. I don't know what I think it might be a weird anomaly of my New Year's resolution, which we'll keep. I mentioned it, but I'm not going to say it until I get like 90 days under my belt. Oh yeah. Whew. Ice cold coffee. So I can't find my flute. I'm gonna find it somewhere this weekend. I'm not trying to mic a flute anyway. And I've decided not to buy a guitar, but I am gonna fly a foot pedal just to work my foot thing out. And I'm just gonna keep banging on top of tables until I figure it out. Um, I think I'm going to get an instructor uh, for piano, but I'm gonna continue learning the guitar by myself, and I might take a singing lesson or two just to see what my register is. Do re mi fa sol la ti da. Yeah. Um. So yeah. So my new hobby is coming along quite nicely, and my old hobby of obsessing over politics is still here. But it's what is this? Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, 1.3 degrees. That's yeah. You need to lower it, and you should have lowered it 20 years ago when people told you, and you didn't, and now we're in it. Um. All right. Everybody's getting COVID. Ooh wee. All right. That's it. All right. So I guess that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be the test stream. I hope it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna test it out tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I do have to overcome my shyness. I'm a what do they call it? I'm a what is there used to be a phrase I used to say all the time. I'm a delicate flower, but yeah, a retiring. Yeah, well, see, it would have been funny if you're gonna remember to Sean. All right, so that is it for me. I will be back tomorrow, likely at 4 o'clock, to knock the doors on this gaming life that we're gonna do on Towards Itch. Um, it's been a week. It's been a week since December. December about 24th. It's been about 2 weeks. Uh, we go back to work Monday, uh, and we add nightly streaming. I think streaming might start at 4. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. We're gonna have to test this thing out. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, we will see you in the next one. The next one, the test stream tomorrow. It's going to be early. It's going to be fun. Come get some. I want to thank everybody for coming through. Like and subscribe, please. As always, I want to thank you, particularly William, for helping with my audio issue. Like and subscribe. I will be here. I hope to see you here, and we can all be here together tomorrow.